Hi, Halvor, it's Colin. I wanted to give you an update on the progress at this point because I've gone through the stuff that I can. I'm going to hand this project over to Brandon to see if he can help with the other questions. But I want to just run through what I discovered, just because you've done such a great job on the site. I see there's some things that I just wanted to inform you about so you'd know why. Maybe things were going off the rails a little bit there. Um, we'll take a look. The first question about the video player. I fired that up and sure enough, same thing. Now, I haven't actually tested with Vimeo. I only tested it with YouTube and really wasn't much to it. It was just embedding the player. But regardless, you're right, it was still causing a problem. And what it was, on the index page, at the very bottom of the page, let's see if I can just scroll down here for a second here. And right in the this area right here, we had some scripts. Those scripts were for the iZotope portfolio. That's great, but the iZotope portfolio wasn't being used on the page. So that was causing a problem. As the scripts were there, but the actual component wasn't there. So that was causing an issue. So I removed that code and that solved the problem right there. So that was what it was. It was a conflict with the leftover code from the iZotope portfolio. So that's been resolved now. The next question about, well, I'll just actually, why don't I just pull up the page here and I'll demonstrate. So here's our index page here. You'll see I've made some modifications. We'll talk about the logo in a second here, but as we scroll on down, there it is right there. I can just boom, hit like that, and sure enough, there we go. And it doesn't collapse anymore. So there's a nice little update or problem solved. Also the logo, I felt bad. When we sent the logo, if the logo, we probably should have given this information when we sent it. If the logo was more than say 300 pixels wide, what we need to do is add a class in the style sheet, or sorry, a class in the to the image class called image responsive. And what that does is it basically says on smaller screens, resize the image down to just fit 100% of its available space. But on larger screens, like if the image is boom, blow it up. So here's what happens now. We've got the logo here. We'll just resize, and I'm just going to sort of scrunch it over like so, and then boom, look at that. Now it sizes down quite nicely in the page. It'll just resize without being all over the place there. So that's something I've updated there for you as well. Go back to my list here. So the page with iZotope portfolio is not stable on iPads, keeps jumping to the top of the page. That is actually something we did have an update for. That's actually the only thing from since you downloaded the template that we've actually have an update for. Everything else was just the same. But this particular thing I did have an update for, so I've updated and replaced the pretty photo theme file. And basically all it was, I just wanted to demonstrate this little snippet of code here. Originally it was actually intended for iPads and whatnot, but since that's just an older, it was intended for an older operating system, I guess. And it had a resize function that's no longer required. So we just snipped that right out of there and problem solved. Because what was happening is when you scroll up and down on an iPad, because you can sort of wiggle things back and forth like on a phone, or when you go from landscape to portrait, that invokes a resize function within the operating system within iOS. And then of course the iZotope portfolio, that code was to help that particular component resize as you resize the page, but things have changed and that's no longer needed, and it was causing a little bit of a weird thing going on. So we've got that sorted out too. Okay, the call to action. Now I think I didn't actually see a problem with the call to action. However, I had removed this miscellaneous iZotope portfolio code and updated the file before I actually went to investigate. So I was saying there's a very good chance that the two fixes that I made to the previous issues also fix the call to action, because I think what was happening is it wasn't the call to action. I think the script on the bottom of the page was causing the the index page to resize. So now that that code is removed and actually that script is updated, that shouldn't be happening. Format of the logo, yes, and I've just mentioned here. So adding the class of image responsive, and then like I said, to get the best look to the site, I'd put it up top here and then I centered it in the page so it would have the sharpest look for you. And then I'm going to move on. Like I said, I'm going to ask Brandon if he could take a look at the newsletter information and the form wizard information here. So he may get back to you a little bit later today or tomorrow on that one. So, but I wanted to give you an update of where I'm at today, and I'll be handing this the rest of this off to my partner in crime. So, thanks very much.